You have seen the ad. €9. London to Barcelona. You click. You are smiling. This is incredible. Then the page loads the next step. Add a checked bag. That is €35. Choose a seat. €12. Priority boarding. €8. Check-in at the airport instead of online. €55. By the time you reach the payment screen, your €9.99 flight has somehow become €129. And here is the part that really stings. You tried to avoid the extras. You genuinely tried. But somehow they ended up in your basket anyway. Welcome to Ryanair, the airline that invented the €10 flight and the €200 experience. In fiscal year 2025, Ryanair carried 200 million passengers across Europe, more than any other airline on the continent. It made €1.61 billion in profit, in an industry where roughly 80% of airlines lose money. And here is the part nobody tells you. Some of Ryanair's best customers are not passengers at all. They are the airports themselves. The airports pay Ryanair to land there. Let that sink in for a moment before we go any further. In 1991, Ryanair was on the verge of collapse. It had been operating since 1984 as a conventional regional airline. Full service, meals, the works. And it was hemorrhaging money trying to compete with British Airways and Aer Lingus on price. It was a losing battle by every financial measure. Then a consultant named Michael O'Leary visited Southwest Airlines in the United States. And what he saw there changed aviation in Europe forever. Southwest had cracked a code that the rest of the industry had ignored. Strip out everything that costs money. Fly one type of plane. Turn it around fast. Sell cheap tickets in enormous volume. The math worked because the simplicity was radical. O'Leary did not just copy the model. He took it further than Southwest ever dared. Where Southwest removed perks, Ryanair removed everything, and then charged you to get it back. That single philosophical leap is the entire Ryanair business model. It is not about flying cheap. It is about making the base fare cheap enough to be irresistible, and then rebuilding the revenue through every touchpoint that follows. The transformation was not gradual. O'Leary came back from America with a blueprint and an obsession, and he rebuilt the airline from the ground up around one idea: the lowest possible cost, at every possible level, without exception. In 1994, Michael O'Leary became Chief Executive Officer of Ryanair. He is, by any measure, the most unusual airline executive who has ever lived. He has proposed charging passengers to use the toilet. He has proposed standing room only tickets, literal vertical poles passengers would hold onto during the flight. He once suggested removing the second pilot and training a flight attendant to land the plane instead. His exact words, published in Bloomberg Businessweek: "Why does every plane have two pilots? Really, you only need one pilot. Let the bloody computer fly it." He has proposed charging for oxygen masks. He once said passengers who forget their boarding pass deserve to be charged €55, because, in his words, it is not our problem if you are an idiot. Here is the thing though. He is serious. And it works. He said it himself in the Wall Street Journal. The funny thing we have learned over the years is actually the bad publicity sells far more seats than the good. When climate activists threw a pie at his face in 2024, Ryanair's social media team posted, "Instead of buying cream pies, could have bought a flight from Belgium for the same price." 2 million impressions. 0 marketing spend. O'Leary understood something most chief executives never do. Controversy is free advertising, and outrage is a targeting mechanism that reaches exactly the people who need cheap flights. Before we get to how Ryanair charges you for everything, we need to understand why it can afford to offer €10 base fares in the first place. It starts with a single decision. Ryanair flies exactly one type of aircraft, the Boeing 737. Nothing else. Ever. That sounds simple. The implications are massive. One plane type means one set of pilot training, one set of spare parts, one maintenance protocol. When you order 300 identical planes from Boeing, you get pricing leverage that no other airline can match. Ryanair's unit costs are 30% lower than its nearest low-cost competitors, and 60% lower than legacy carriers like British Airways and Lufthansa. In 2025, while the industry saw unit cost inflation of around 9%, Ryanair held its cost growth to 1%. That gap is not luck. It is architecture. And then, there is the airport play, the one that genuinely stops people cold. Ryanair does not just save money at airports. In many cases, airports pay Ryanair to land there. Secondary airports: Frankfurt Hahn instead of Frankfurt, London Stansted instead of Heathrow, Bergamo instead of Milan, desperately need passenger traffic. Ryanair brings 5, 10, sometimes 20 million passengers a year through those terminals. That fills hotels, taxis, restaurants, and duty-free shops. So regional governments and smaller airports offer Ryanair subsidized landing fees, free ground handling, and sometimes direct cash incentives to route flights through them. What most airlines treat as a major expense, Ryanair has turned into a negotiation. It almost always wins. Add to that a 99% online check-in completion rate, which eliminates nearly all airport desk staffing costs, and turnaround times of 25 minutes per aircraft versus 45 to 60 minutes for full-service carriers. 25-minute turnarounds mean the same plane makes more flights per day. More flights per day means more revenue per plane per year. Speed, at Ryanair, is not a metric. It is money. Now let us talk about where Ryanair actually makes its money. In fiscal year 2025, Ryanair's average base fare was €50. London to Lisbon, €50. Genuinely. But here is the full picture. Checked baggage fee, €35 to €60 per bag. Cabin bag over 40 by 20 by 25 centimeters, €35 at the gate, but €10 if you pay online in advance. Airport check-in, if you did not do it online, €55 per person. Seat selection, €4 to €25 depending on location. Priority boarding, €6 to €10. Boarding pass reprint at the airport, €20. Name change on a ticket, €115. Digital boarding pass non-compliance penalty introduced in 2025, €20. In 2025, Ryanair went fully digital for boarding passes with no exceptions. Forget to download it? €20 penalty, automatically. That single policy saves Ryanair €300,000 a year in paper costs and generates new fee revenue at the same time. The genius of the system is that every fee feels optional. But the architecture of the booking process, the airport experience, and the gate procedure is designed so that avoiding all of them simultaneously is nearly impossible. You are always one forgotten step away from a charge. In fiscal year 2025, Ryanair's total revenue reached €13.95 billion. Scheduled ticket revenue accounted for €9.23 billion. Ancillary revenue, fees, extras, add-ons, contributed €4.72 billion, representing 34% of total revenue. The average ancillary spend per passenger was approximately €23 on top of the base fare. Net profit reached €1.61 billion at a margin of 19%. Extraordinary for any industry. Remarkable for aviation. The cheap ticket is not the product. The cheap ticket is the hook. Every few months, Ryanair does something that generates outrage. A new fee. A bizarre proposal. An O'Leary quote that goes viral. And every single time, bookings increase. O'Leary explained it himself in an interview with Skift in 2024. All you have to do is make noise. Whether it is charging for toilets, standing-only cabins, or whatever, social media accentuates that nonsensical rubbish. Here is what he understood about consumer psychology. Outrage makes people search for you online. Searching means they see your prices. Seeing your prices means they book. Because the fares genuinely are that cheap. The angry article is not bad publicity. It is a free advertisement that targets exactly the right person. Someone who needs a cheap flight and just discovered that Ryanair has them. The toilet fee proposal was never implemented, but it was reported in 40 countries and reminded 40 million people that Ryanair exists and has cheap flights. Free. Worldwide. Press. Ryanair does not have a public relations department that manages controversy. It has a chief executive who manufactures it on a schedule, with precision, and with complete awareness of the outcome. At this point, you might be thinking, if this model works so well, why does not everyone do it? Some have tried. EasyJet, Wizz Air, Vueling. None of them have matched Ryanair's cost structure. Here is why. Cost leadership at Ryanair's level is not a strategy. It is a culture that was installed over 30 years. Pilots once bought their own uniforms, their own pens, their own training materials. Every cost, no matter how small, was examined, challenged, and eliminated if possible. That obsession cannot be replicated by a board decision. It has to be built from day one and compounded over decades. In March 2025, Ryanair held 1.3 billion euros in net cash with no debt. 85% of its fiscal year 2026 fuel requirement was hedged at $76 per barrel, protecting it from price spikes that devastate competitors. It has 330 Boeing MAX planes on order, locking in future cost advantages before rivals can respond. Ryanair does not just have low costs. It has 30 years of compounding low-cost decisions that no new entrant can fast-forward through. The moat is not the price. The moat is the history behind the price. So here is what Ryanair actually sells. It is not a flight. It is a price that gets you in the door. Once you are in the door, at the booking screen, at the airport, at the gate, the architecture of the experience is designed to extract maximum value from every decision you make under pressure. You are rushing. You do not want to miss the flight. You will pay the €35 bag fee. You will pay the €20 boarding pass penalty. You will pay. And Ryanair will have made its money not from the ticket, but from the moment you stopped paying attention. The hook is the €50 average base fare, cheapest in Europe. The real revenue is €4.72 billion from ancillary fees, representing 34% of total income. The cost weapon is unit costs 60% lower than legacy carriers. The airport play turns a traditional expense into a negotiating advantage. The controversy strategy generates free global advertising on a continuous cycle. And the result is €1.61 billion in profit, while 80% of the industry loses money. Ryanair did not invent cheap flights. It invented the psychology of cheap flights. The next time you see a €9 Ryanair fare, you will know exactly what is happening. The ticket is an invitation. The fees are the business. That is the hidden economics of Ryanair.